Perfect. Awesome. So I'm here with Silas Robinson, and we're basically just going to be chatting a little bit about what he does and his business and how he's gotten to where he is today. So if you want to just dive right into it, tell us a bit about, who you are, what you do, and we can go from there.
Cool, Lewis. Thank you. Um, basically, I'm the owner of Lift Personal Fitness, my wife and I, here in Fredericton. And when everything changed for us, we luckily have mentors and people that we talk to and coaches. Um, and so we were able to have a really good inside view of what was going on in our industry.
Yeah.
Um, and then so they were like basically feeding us recommendations like every single day. They're still doing that. Um,
So when was this? Was this recently or when you first started?
I would say that within I'd say, what do you think, Amy? Probably the first 3 days. Yeah, I would say within 3 days, the coaching group that I'm a part of, they were experiencing it before us in other parts of the world,
Oh,
actually.
you're talking about COVID, so like how that's affected you guys here. Gotcha.
I try to talk about COVID without talking about
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna put it right out there. Yeah.
COVID. No, I know. I just know a lot of people can start, tuning things out because it's been so overwhelming. So I
Sure.
want to try to help with that. But
Yeah.
yeah, like so we were kind of really fortunate, but we still had to take action really fast. So our business is a fitness business, so we're used to coaching people one-on-one or in a small group setting, and so, and it's kind of funny because it's been on the back of my mind for many years to try to go online.
Sure.
And I've made a couple stabs at it actually, but never really got very far, didn't have the time, and definitely didn't have the spark under me or the desire to really push hard enough to accomplish it.
You didn't have your back against the wall.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Tony Robbins, I don't know, do you follow him at all?
A little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
He said that basically there's two motivators. There's the motivation factor when your back is up against the wall. And that's for most people the more powerful one. And then the other one is the amazingness that you can see in front of you that you're trying to move towards.
Sure.
And the attraction to it is so strong.
Sure.
And the back up against the wall though works best for most people.
Yeah. It's usually what forces you to take action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like basically we were, recommended to go online with our clients. So we were just following the advice of the coaching company that we work with, and it was just so fast. So it was basically like pick whatever software you're going to use, go with it,
Yeah.
like learn it, go with it. You're going to do, and then just immediately start building, just like you have a brand new business from day one. And you got to pick yourself up and go at it every day. Which was nerve wracking, and I'm sure it's nerve wracking for most people. Um, but it worked out really well. Luckily, we have really loyal clients, and the majority of them. Um, well, I shouldn't say the majority because that's not true. I wish it was, but a good number of them had actually gone on to online training. Um, and then
With
what we
you.
did. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're currently coaching a good number of people through, like sending them workouts directly to their phone with videos from their trainer. They're checking them off as being done, getting feedback on their workouts each day. Um, and they're loving it. Like the retention is through the roof.
Amazing. That's amazing.
It's crazy. It's honestly, I did a survey just yesterday. I asked our group, how many of you, like, are you working out more or less um, after being in isolation? And the majority, I'm pretty sure the majority were saying more.
That's awesome.
Um, yeah,
So talk
but
to me a
people,
bit about what you did do to kind of transition from, because I know like from what I've seen you're mostly in person training, um,
yeah.
and how you made that major shift. What did you guys do?
Well, specifically, we signed up for a coaching software. The one we decided on at the time was called True Coach. So we could, and then, we had to put together how are we going to do it? Yeah. It was a lot to kind of figure out. But another thing that we did, I think that was really important, is we just tried to communicate every single day to our clients to let them know what we were doing.
Yeah.
And to make it even better, what we decided to do is actually an equipment lending program. So we
awesome.
lent out. Yeah, that was that actually worked out way better than I had hoped.
Yeah. I've heard of a few gyms doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And it just, I mean, I can still walk into my gym, just me.
Yeah.
But it's amazing to see like how much that would mean to somebody who's used to working out all the time, and then they have a 15-pound pair of dumbbells in their hands, how much better it is now for them to do things.
Absolutely. So you had to, in a very short period of time, you had to come up with videos and material and put that online and figure out a way to deliver it to your customers.
Yeah, like one of our trainers has over 100 videos saved up now in an exercise database library.
Yeah.
The way that we're doing it is that so we used to run a group and we used to run private personal training. So with group, what we did is we made those group workouts the same as we would, but with the limited exercises you would have at home.
Yeah.
And we still named them the same classes and just change the exercises. And what we're doing is we're tailoring it to each individual the same way we would in the gym. So if someone's not able to do something, then they talk to their coach about that, and the coach is going to tailor those group workouts for that person before they even get to do their workouts.
Wow. It's a lot of back end work for you guys.
It's a lot. It actually became more personalized than in person because everybody's getting it consistently.
Sure.
Right. So that's pretty cool. And then the personal one is just the same type of thing, but they're getting individualized programming specific to them, and then video tutorials and things. And the other thing that we're doing which is really, really fun, is live Zoom classes every week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So just calisthenics, like you lead a class basically, or?
Have you ever heard of Tabata?
I haven't, no.
Okay, so it's it's an exercise where basically you have like 8 exercises, I think, and you do each exercise for 8 sets of 20 seconds with 10 seconds rest in between.
Okay.
So you're like squat for 20 seconds, stop for 10, squat for 20 seconds, stop for 10. You got to go through that 8 times before you get to the next exercise, and it doesn't stop.
That sounds brutal.
I know. Yeah. So we're doing that on, yeah. So that's going to be fun. We do that currently, but we're opening it up for a trial class this Thursday to everyone in our open Facebook group. So
that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. So,
yeah.
Like going forward, how do you think this is going to affect you? What do you think you're going to, I mean, I don't know if you've had a chance to even relax. By the sounds of it, you're quite busy, but going forward, how do you think this is going to affect the way you present classes to people? Assuming everything is, like everything opens back up again, right?
Right. And I believe that will happen. But if that happens, which it probably will, I actually see like huge opportunities. Like, short-term pain for long-term gain, because we're basically at the surface level, we're having a third service that we're able to offer people, and we're going to be getting better and better at that over time, and then we'll be able to help people a lot, like people who can't make it to our facility. So and just anybody really in the world, but our focus is on Atlantic Canada and Eastern Canada area.
Which there's a lot of people there.
So that'll grow, and that's fun. But on a deeper level, what it did is it actually made me realize the value of, and I've always known this, but never have been able to do it so well that I can see it, is the value of tracking everyone's participation, like micro tracking everyone's participation.
Can you talk a bit about what you're tracking then?
Sure. Like attendance, attendance or adherence to like workouts completed.
Nice.
So yeah, so we're tracking attendance based on workouts completed, um, and also like overall progress, because people are recording, how many reps they did, how many weights, how much they lifted, and things like that. So we're tracking progress, which is super important. But more important is adherence.
Yeah.
And we're able to easily identify, like, who's having the most challenges and who should we reach out to.
Right.
So we're way more ethical in how we're reaching out to people, because we're reaching out to people that need it the most.
Got it. So you're not just reaching out to everybody and then hoping that a few people who need it will get back to
Right.
you. Yeah.
Right. Well, like a huge or something I've noticed, I guess, just being in the service industry, is that it's very easy to be biased about who you're helping
Okay.
because of how it makes you feel. So for example, a trainer might, think to message 3 or 4 of their clients that they have a really great relationship with, a lot of rapport.
Yeah.
And then they're going to feel good because they know that they're going to get good feedback, and they know that they're going to feel like, you know what I mean? But
Gotcha.
then they might just forget to message Sally and just assume she's okay.
Who might be coasting or falling off the track.
Right. And,
Yeah.
but because of the stronger relationship with other people. And then meanwhile, Sally could be like, man, she could be really hurting and need someone to talk to.
Yeah.
So it really strengthens that from not happening.
Nice. So your long-term retention is then bound to be a lot higher then.
It's insane. Like right now we have a greater than 100% retention.
How's that possible? Oh, because you're growing right now?
Because it's growing, and
Nice.
there's no drop off. So it just shows that the service is there. So then basically what that opens my mind up to for our in-service is making that a part of it, really.
So that they can log that and kind
Right.
of, yeah.
They log that right then and there while they're doing their workout in the gym, and being, like recording their weight, recording the fact that they completed the workout. And it's just really good feedback, because a lot of times people, just being in this industry for a long time, one thing I've noticed is a lot of people are shy.
Right.
Like a lot of us, right? And
Yeah.
they don't want to be that person that says, should this feel like this, or whatever,
Yeah.
if they feel like it might make them stand out in a class.
Right.
So it's easy for them to just check off that workout and then leave a little note to the trainer, like, I had a hard time with this exercise.
Yeah.
And then that
awesome.
it's beautiful. So it's the quality enhancement from being forced to do everything this way is wonderful.
Yeah, that's excellent. So you're saying you've been in for a long time. Maybe tell us a bit about how you got into this and how long you've been doing this and kind of your journey that way.
Oh, that's fun, Lewis.
Yeah.
Okay. So I started as a personal trainer back when New Bodies was here in town in Fredericton.
Okay. I'm new to Fredericton. I moved down in 2014.
What do you mean? Health Styles. 2014, you moved to Fredericton?
Yeah, so I don't think I'm familiar with them.
It was 2005.
Okay.
When I first started. And I started a company called New Bodies, and that was actually the downtown Fredericton Good Life.
Okay.
It used to be called New Bodies, and prior to that, it used to be Health Styles, and it was something else probably prior to that.
Okay.
And I started at a time when I don't think there were many people doing personal training in the city. I tried to look like I was super new to it. I literally quit a desk job because I hated working long hours, sitting at a desk. It was super crazy frustrated. People were going out for fast food. I was gaining weight. I was not feeling good, but
Yeah.
I always had like this history of working out in a gym. Um, so the manager at the time, he was like, "You should try to be a personal trainer here." And I was like, "I could do that."
Yeah. Yeah. So you didn't go to school for it or anything like that?
Nope, I did
No, you
not.
just kind of stumbled upon it then.
Yeah, like I've been working out since I was like 14 or something, or
Oh
15.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like there were trainers before there were certifications for trainers.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I wasn't saying that to say that you didn't have the training. It was more just like the path kind of fell into your lap there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I guess I jumped at that, but,
Yeah, yeah, no, that's fine.
but no, it was, yeah, you're right. It totally just became natural and fell into it. Um, but really like really fell into it, like failed into it, like
Yeah,
failed a lot.
yeah,
Like my first year, it was my wife was supporting our family, definitely. I was not doing very good at all. And it just because I didn't know anything at all about sales, and I didn't know about how to retain clients, and I didn't know about what clients even really needed. I had taken a short course, and I, had some ego, and I felt like I knew, like, everything.
yeah. As
Right.
we do when we start out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I went after it, and I failed terribly for years, and just kept picking myself back up, trying to learn how to do it better and better and better and better. And eventually left that I eventually worked up to being a personal training manager for Good Life, but then left them um, to go out on my own, and it was
what made you pick that path?
actually it honestly was another trainer at the time had convinced me to go and work with him at his
Okay,
gym, and
okay,
that was a great experience for both of us. We just had slightly different views on how we wanted to run our business,
sure.
so then I left that to do my own thing. um, but yeah, I literally would not dream of doing anything else, because it's not about the money. It's definitely about doing something I really like to do, and growth, and also feeling like um I guess that I'm giving back, because fitness helped me a lot in my youth when I was going through some really rough times,
Yeah,
and I've always felt pulled to give that back to others that are going through rough times.
yeah. What did talk a bit about what fitness did for you? Like, was it a confidence thing or?
Fitness saved my life, Lewis.
Okay,
Like
I don't know
I,
how personal you want to get with.
I won't go too personal, but I'll go a little bit. Like, I'll just say when I was a 17-year-old teenager, I was not making good decisions at all. And I had really gotten myself into a lot of trouble. I was not living at home. Um, and, and then at that time, when like I looking back now can see that I just had very little self-worth, and I just didn't really feel good, and I definitely was not on the right path. Luckily, I actually met someone who introduced me to strength training, and his name was Kyle, actually,
Okay,
and became a really, really great friend of mine. And I trained together with him in a gym about 3 to 5 days a week for about 2 years straight. And during that time, I went from like 135 pounds skinny little boy up to like maybe 155, 160 pounds in like,
wow.
a couple of years. And I was feeling strong, lifting great weight, and just felt amazing. And also then at that time, I literally shifted from, I don't even think I was aware of my body
Sure, sure.
prior, like,
Yeah,
or even about, I basically had no drive just to at all. Like I was
yeah,
like, what's the point
yeah,
to building like an inner self-confidence, and then kind of like a spark or a flame and a little bit of a desire to contribute back. And it's funny how when you go from, and I think a lot of people do this, from just not feeling good, and then you find that thing that helps you feel good, that you feel compelled to share that thing.
You want to become an evangelist for that
Yeah.
that thing that kind of saved you.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how fitness kept coming back into my life, because it was meant to.
Yeah.
And then basically, so you have this thing that I basically had this thing that I was really passionate about and I really loved a lot. And I wanted to share that with people. But at the same time, I had no idea how to market, no idea how to do business, none of that.
Sure.
And I just didn't have that skill set. So I had to basically fail forward but the biggest thing is I just decided not to stop.
Sure. That's a pretty big line in the sand, right?
Yeah,
What
exactly.
do you have a couple examples of things that I don't know, some big failures or some big like stepping stones along the way?
Absolutely. Um, absolutely. I mean, just one really, I could probably list 100.
Yeah. We'll plan a 2-hour session next time.
Okay, cool. So like, yeah, sure. So when we first, let me think, big one.
I put you on the spot here now.
No, that's a good one. I mean, I moved early. I moved from downtown to uptown.
Yeah.
That was insane. I have no clue how that worked out, Lewis.
You just decided
Like,
to do
no
it and
clue.
went for it.
Yeah, I just decided to go for it because I was like, well, I know we're going to have to do it someday. But my lease wasn't up yet.
Sure.
And, we came across this large location uptown that had been empty for like 2 years, cobwebs in the ceiling and everything. And it was huge though. I mean, the benefits, there were showers and things like that. So it was a good opportunity, but it was definitely the wrong time.
Sure. Yeah.
And I don't know, 100% of it was like, I guess just a desire, or I guess just knowing that needed to happen someday. I just tried to make it happen.
You
So
just went for it and jumped in.
just jumped all in, went for it, started negotiations. Like, it's how everything goes, but definitely lost thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to do it.
Because of renovations and all of that.
Yeah, because of renovations so basically it's like the story of the business that grows too fast.
Okay.
100%.
Yep.
And I wasn't a good leader at the time, and I've developed over time leadership skills to be able to grow and help my team better.
Sure.
Looking back, I did not. What I tried to do, because I knew that I couldn't leave one to open another location, I tried to do it right. So I was like, okay, well, we'll just put a manager in place here and we'll do this and whatever. And we'll have 2 locations in Fredericton, even though they're close together. And, and, but I wasn't a good leader at the time. So I wasn't there to support the people I put in place as strongly as I could have or should have.
Sure.
I have no regrets, because these are all lessons learned.
Failing forward, right?
Failing forward, like I said, but that's a fail forward, hands down.
Yeah.
Now I would not make a choice in that way.
What were the consequences of expanding too fast? Was it just really tight monetarily, or was it more your team?
It was a lot of things. I mean, we lost really good employees at the time that throughout the frustration of the quickness of change.
Yeah.
That was really sad. And I also lost some really great clients that we had strong relationships with. There were strong relationships, but still the distance was that much more inaccessible, and
Sure.
things like that. So there was the loss of the effort and everything that goes into creating relationships, and also just the fact that, like, it's like building something to help someone and then pulling it away to go do some other thing.
Sure. Sure,
And
rather than bringing them along with you.
yeah,
Yeah,
so although some came with us, um, it was definitely a hardship at the time because we had to rebuild and whatnot. But at the whole time, with the greater idea of being able to reach and help a lot more people.
sure. Yeah, so it's
Right.
growing pains, but you've obviously come through it and grown through it.
Absolutely. It was definitely the right thing to do looking back. Um, but yeah, there's definitely have been a lot of challenges. I could tell you some other challenges too that'll definitely happen to a
Yeah,
lot of people.
yeah.
Is hiring various coaches.
Okay, like to coach yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I am a huge believer in coaching. I love it. I
that's
do
what you're
it.
selling as well.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what I'm selling. So it would be ridiculous for me to, as a small business owner, to want to become, because I want to add a lot of value to the world, right? Like,
100%.
I don't know if you're there yet, Lewis, but the way I feel is like, probably not going to be here forever. Right.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
So why not leave a legacy, right? So
yeah,
I want to do something good and know that, my life had value and meaning for others.
yeah.
So yeah, I forget where my thought was on that.
We were talking about my mind went down the tangent right with you. We were talking about
Yeah.
coaching, and
Right.
yeah,
So yeah, it is so easy to make, because when you start hiring coaches, you're also opening yourself up to trust,
yeah,
because you're going to be doing things you've probably never done, and maybe even being asked to do, yeah, like specifically being asked to do things that you've never done before. And these things may or may not even be good, but you're kind of like just trusting and going, and you're also moving very quickly.
yeah.
um, so that would be a big thing that I would say over the years has become a challenge, is having hired the wrong coaches at different times,
Gotcha.
um, and investing a lot of money into that too, like hundreds of thousands, like
Yeah,
like a lot of money goes, like I'm talking over years, like
yeah.
that number's probably pretty big, but
What
over,
what would your tips be, I guess, to help people avoid that pitfall? I mean, obviously you've got to kind of buy into the coaching process to make it work. But what have you picked up along the way that helps you not pick a bad one?
to follow your heart.
Okay.
To follow your heart and really be like, okay, is this coach that I'm working with someone that I would align with, and someone that I want to be, because you're gonna, especially if you decide to look up to the practices of another business or another person, is that someone I want to be like?
Sure.
Is that someone I am like?
Yeah.
Because it's not about the money. It's about being successful in your efforts to accomplish what you're trying to do.
To improve yourself, to improve what you're doing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's better. I was watching or listening to a podcast, I think the other day or something, about how they were saying that these companies are always being rewarded by getting to their target by the end of the year, even if they had a whole bunch of months that were like low, but they made them up because of all these super high months, and they made it at the end of the year to their target. So the whole team is celebrated. Meanwhile, another company is growing really slowly, but they're on a consistent growth trend and their retention is amazing.
Right. Right.
But they come slightly short of their target.
But in the
And they're
long
not
run,
right. And then
right?
they're not receiving any praise or anything, or any encouragement that what they did was right, even though they're more meaningful numbers. So I guess my advice to anyone that's thinking about coaching or hiring someone is to think more first about what really matters to you.
Sure.
Um,
That seems easy to think about, but I can also see how it'd be easy to overlook.
and has that person actually achieved what you're trying to achieve?
Right.
I've hired coaches before that were not in the fitness industry business,
Okay.
and I may have definitely made improvements as a person, but I didn't really achieve what I set out to achieve, and it was kind of like wasted effort or wasted time.
Right. No, I
Yes.
can see that. I mean, even in the, it's almost been 10 months now that I've been in business. I've done a fair bit of coaching too, and obviously not as much as you've done, but over the last couple months, there's been a couple coaches that
Mm,
it was good quality stuff, but it wasn't
mm,
aligned with what I'm doing, and they weren't doing the same
mm,
thing, right? So yeah, no, I
mm.
think that's a really good tip.
Cool. I got this other little thought about coaching too. Um, what was it? Oh, this has happened to me, and I'll just be open and honest about it over the years. Is actually it happens with clients to trainers as well. Like clients will put their trainer on a pedestal,
Sure.
and I think business owners, it's at least myself, having hired multiple coaches, at times I have put some of them up on a higher pedestal because maybe they have more success than me or they have more whatever. But what you will notice if you pay attention is that there will be one or two things here and there that amazing super coach does, and you're like, I don't like you anymore.
Right. Right. Right.
Or you know what I mean? So you got to really balance the good with the bad because we're all human,
Yeah.
and even the coach that might have a lot of experience, you may not have reached the level of success that they have, maybe in like monetary means of money or whatever, but um, you may have reached another level of success in terms of your own personal ethics on a topic.
Sure. Sure.
You
So
may,
be
yeah. For example, you could have the best coach in the world and then find out that they actually talk down to women.
right. Right.
And
That
you
sounds
may
like
have,
you're speaking from experience.
yeah. And, and then you are all of a sudden like, so you have to take what you learned from their skill set of that thing, but not necessarily try to mirror or become that person, and realize that you are your own person and that you may have things that are mastered that are beyond what that person has mastered, but they've mastered this other thing.
Sure. So take everything with a grain of salt, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when I've just fallen into the trap of trying to mirror too many behaviors of others who are further than me, to realize that like it's affecting other areas of my life and things like that too. So
I love it. No,
yeah.
I think that's very powerful for sure.
Mm, okay. So just a thought there.
Yeah. Awesome.
Um,
Well,
mm,
I don't know if we kind of ended
I
on
don't
a
know.
bit of an advice note there, but
Yeah.
do you have any other things you'd say to any business owners really right now and going forward in ways that they can kind of take advantage and press forward while others are pulling back?
Mm. One thought that comes to mind is that not everybody should push forward.
Okay. Can you
I,
elaborate?
sure. If you sell guitars, you've never given lessons before in your life, you might not want to start like trying to like invest money into advertising or anything about your online guitar lessons.
Right. Right.
It might be wiser still to hold back.
Sure.
So even though I think it's awesome, like basically if you know you can go online and you know that your business can do that, you just need help, then you have to start getting help.
Right.
Like now, like
Right.
do it now if you can, but you have to go over after it, I believe, if you know that you can.
Sure.
Um,
Sure. No, that makes sense. I mean, in that case, maybe you get someone who can teach lessons to your clients and then you take a sliver to deliver or something.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Don't make a fool of yourself on the internet.
exactly.
Yeah.
Don't, because yeah, like if it's going to take you 3 months to get proficient at something, and that's when everything opens back up. If you plan to keep doing that thing and you know that you're going to like you know that you're not going to be good at it at the beginning, and you're going to work, in 3 months it'll become this third revenue stream for your business or something.
Yeah.
Awesome. Go ahead and do that, even if you're going to suck and you're going to for the first 3 months, and then
Right.
maybe but just keep that in mind. Yeah.
No, I think that's a good tip, honestly.
I just think a lot of people could lie to people can lie to themselves about the outcome. I think the most important thing is actually to try to live in the moment. Plan for the future, yes, but right now, go with the estimates and things of how things are going to change when your business might be reopening. Move slower is my advice.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think that makes sense. That's good advice, I think, because the idea, the underlying reaction would be to kind of panic and pivot and do something, anything, and
Right.
you're kind of saying maybe pull back and assess and then move forward with
Yeah.
a plan.
Yeah. Cause I guess the thought was, if you're pivoting is going to cost you money, definitely,
Mhm.
like, that's okay, but just don't kid yourself.
Make sure it's not going to sink your ship while you're trying to unsink it.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
even now, we're not really growing quickly
Yeah. Yeah.
as a business. Like, my whole mindset still is reserve and perfect and keep happy the clients we can still serve. And that's my
Absolutely.
number one priority. My number one priority is not to grow right now. It is
But
like
to maintain and hold off from dying too fast.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, to maintain and hold off from dying and
Yeah.
provide quality, and it's just all about quality, really. But that being said, I also know that if there's people that are really close to pivoting to being online, but they need to have some help with tech, then there's probably a ton of people out there that are offering tech help right now,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
You've probably already talked to a few, or you're got them in your group, like.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's been some good webinars and stuff put on by people who have great knowledge in that area.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that those are all my thoughts, Lewis. I think.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I appreciate it, and I appreciate you taking the time as well. You guys are obviously very busy keeping everything going.
yeah, we're not as busy as you might think, but it's hard on the head
Your
sometimes.
mind
Some
is
days.
busy. Yeah, you got to keep mentally fit right now, I think, more than physically.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
No, thanks for having me on here, Lewis. Happy to chat anytime.
Absolutely, yeah, and I look forward to chatting on your show as well next week.
Okay, awesome. We'll talk to you then.
Sounds good. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
bye.
Bye.